All right, welcome. This is just a quick, hopefully, overview of Google Earth for geography and the five themes of geography. Um, First of all, I would probably undo all of these, and then we can take a look at the Earth and the regions. We can see some ice there, and we can see some deserts over here, and rainforests, and we can see the South Pole. And if you go up to the North Pole, you'll see, oops, got to get to the North Pole. I'm lost, help! There's the North Pole, it's empty. How many of your students know that? You could really see the size of the Pacific Ocean there. So there's that. As you see down at the bottom, as I move my mouse, my little hand around, the longitude and latitude numbers come up, and even the elevation numbers. So as you're floating around, you can see here's an elevation of 2,000 feet, here's an elevation of negative 7,000 feet in the middle of the ocean. Here's an elevation of 9, 8, 9, 10,000 feet, you know, and 11 more, more. You could probably find Mount Everest over here somewhere, but we'll look for that later. All right. So there's the Earth, there's the regions around the world. If I go up here, I can put in longitude and latitude coordinates, click search. My address pops up right away, so we're going somewhere in France. Where could we be going? There it is, the Eiffel Tower. So we could talk about your location and places. Location being just kind of the longitude and latitude of a place, and then the address would be the place itself. So the location on Earth for the Eiffel Tower is 48 degrees 51 minutes 32 seconds north and 2 degrees 17 minutes 45 seconds east. That's the place. That's also the address, which would be the Eiffel Tower. If you really want to get more into that, you can do um, an actual address. So here it's probably best if you would do like a school or something, but I'm going to go ahead and stick my home address in there. Not my home address, but um, the house I grew up in. So I'm going to go check that out. And we see it's a nice little subdivision um, with trees and houses and all that other stuff. If I want to get a closer look, I can take the peg man and I can drop him. They didn't go on the side streets here. So if I want to get a street view, I want to drop him on the street. Okay. If I drop him on one of those other spots, it doesn't look as good. Now I can click these buttons and drive, and it's actually just kind of zooming out, and then boom, it jumps to the next picture it took. Because the Google cars didn't actually take video, they took pictures every, so many pictures a second. As I use my scroll wheel, I'm going and just moving one picture at a time. Now if I want to look around, I use this one and I can just cruise around. There we go. And everything else. Okay? And I can tell you right here, if I turn this way, those are some apple trees. I just know that because I grew up here. Anyhow, so Google Earth can be both big and little, and it might be really cool for students, and actually it could be a great way for students to start talking about this, as if they exit Street View, if they go somewhere, or you could send them somewhere for a homework assignment, and take some pictures and put the address of where they went to in here. So we probably don't want to do houses, but we could do something. And they take this yellow thumbtack and click that, and it puts it on the place. And then they can add their images there, or they can add a link. You know, maybe they go to Glacial Park, so they could put a link to the website they have there. It also gives you the longitude and latitude, and they can name it, stuff like that. So pictures are pretty cool like that, and you can see as people put pictures in, and they tag them in Google with addresses, the geotagging and all that other stuff, it actually comes up here. So here's some pictures right here. Dundee and Wolf Road. Wow. And you can see pictures of the real world right around there. So obviously somebody has this one, backyard from the second floor. I don't think that's a true picture. But if we go somewhere else, if we go say to the Great Pyramid of Giza, and we zoom in there, and we've got our pictures on here, we can see all these pictures. And these red ones are 360 degrees, so we can fly into it and spin around. So we are in the photo, and it's a 360 degree photo, so we can spin around. You can see the little X up on the little box there. So I can go up and down and make you dizzy and woo. Okay. And then I have to exit my photo. It's also really cool if you drop in the little peg man. He goes down to Street View. In these historical sites, it's really nice because now I can spin around. Let me go back to the Pyramid of Giza real quick. Up and back down, we can see our pyramids. Grab my little peg man, drop him down in the middle of it. I go down to Street View. And now, when I spin around in a circle, I should see the pyramids eventually. Or maybe not. Or a shadow. Or something. So, that's that. I guess I didn't get close enough to the pyramids to see them. Click on somebody's picture. Alright, so there's that. And if I go back to, go to another landmark, take my photos off here, I'm going to run over to the Statue of Liberty. You can see obviously that's the man-made Statue of Liberty on top of Battery Island in the harbor of New York, so we're seeing a lot of man-made changes. I like to zoom out a little bit, zoom way out, and I've got nothing on here. None of these, down at the bottom left-hand corner are all these layers, but none of these layers on here. So it just looks like a nice, pretty area. Lots of green on the ocean, on the harbor. Now, I can start in with, I like to start with roads. So I think that's the most dramatic. All of a sudden you see all these roads pop up in the middle. And then put some borders and labels on here. Obviously you can see your states, and if I zoom in a little bit, it'll start adding cities. There's my cities. These are counties, I would assume. If I zoom out farther, I can see the states have kind of, you know, hidden away a little bit, but I can also add down here global awareness, and you probably won't see a whole lot here, but there's Appalachia, so I can zoom in on some of those. And see what those are. So, and you can definitely see what, you know, here's some open top mining, and they've just shown, you could see the top of the mountain has been completely taken away. So I can take that stuff off. So there's a lot of that sort of environmental stuff there. And more on the bottom, you could see your local parks, local place names, that sort of stuff. Add those in if you want them. Public transportation. You can see local weather right on top. Or take all of that off. And one of the coolest things is this little timeline up here. So this is 2012. Each of these lines is another year. So let's go back to 1964, and you can see there's a lot different here. If you had roads on there, here's roads in 1964, 2010. Let's go back to 1930. Are they still there? Yeah, they're still there. Never mind that. But if you zoom in, you can definitely see the change, because these are satellite photos from NASA and whatnot. So the changes in the terrain, the changes in the physical structures and natural structures are definitely a lot easier to see. So that's kind of an overview of Google Earth. I hope good luck using it in your class, and I hope your students enjoy it.